Welcome back to the Surly Talk Sports podcast, the preview podcast brought to you by the TAB and Michelob Ultra. One of the great sporting weekends coming up ahead of us, especially if you're living in Auckland. 4 massive events all going down from your Friday night through to your Sunday night. Can't wait for it. Add to that a massive round of NRL action. We've got an All Blacks coach, of course. Released a podcast last night, a bit of an initial reactions podcast between myself and Henry, and also Sean Stevenson jumping on to give us a bit of an insight into Dave Rennie from a player's perspective as well. Of course, gave him his debut at the Chiefs. He's a man he knows very well, so it was great to hear his thoughts. You can check that out on YouTube and Spotify if you haven't already. T20 World Cup semi-finals time. Matt Henry back in India. Things are all shaping up. We've got a TAB code for this week as well before I get too excited and rip straight in. The code this week is NRL26. So NRL and then the numbers 26. You can place a first try scorer bet on any NRL game this weekend, and if it misses, you'll get your money back. Up to $20 in bonus cash. So you don't even have to get on the Warriors game. You could go on tonight's game, Storm Eels. You could go on the Battle of the Big Dogs, the Panthers and the Broncos. If your bet doesn't hit first try scorer, money back in bonus cash up to $20. Bloody good stuff. Producer Henry, she's been a whirlwind 12 hours, let's say that.
Yeah, big 12 hours for everyone. Obviously, the All Blacks coach, but yeah, big weekend to rip in. How many games are you going to?
I'm going to the 2. I'm stuck on the 2. Blues is a maybe, which would push me to 3. Yep. I would imagine you'd be doing 3.
I really wanted to do all 4,
yes,
but I've got a coaching commitment during the day on Saturday, so can't do the NZB Kiwi, but I am going to all 3.
Yeah, you're a good committed coach. I'm actually skipping the first North Coast pre-season for the Kiwi. You know, sponsor obligations, things like that, plus free booze, free tins. Absolutely. Can't say no to that. We'll start with the NRL, of course, 6 games to preview. It's the meat, the chunk of the round 1 now. We've had those 2 Vegas games, and this is where we get the rest of them. And Thursday night footy, this game. And I feel like this whole round, similar to how Super Rugby nailed the draw, I feel like the NRL really did too. And it's a bit of a rivalry round. No better than the 2 clubs going at it tonight in the Melbourne Storm and the Parramatta Eels. Add to that the whole narrative around Zach Lomax and the Eels blocking Melbourne Storm from picking him up. You've got Jonah Pezzett going up against his old club. Yeah, the build-up for this one has pretty much been set, and I think this is going to be a great game. Your Storm, $1.46 favourites, Para $2.75 underdogs. Melbourne looking to win their 23rd round 1 game straight, which is pretty crazy, right? When you think about how close the competition is, as has been in the past few years, to be able to win 22 straight round 1 games is purely freakish. You could argue as well, their team this year, probably the most susceptible to be tipped up by Para in an upset. You got Mitch Moses, Junior Polo, you got Jonah Pezzett there as well now, so it's a decent Para team. You got a Storm off the back of an interesting off-season. Pappenhausen retiring, you got Ali Katoa, head knocks, Nelson Asafa Solomona gone, Xavier Coates gone with this Achilles, so perhaps the Eels smell blood in the water. For me, I'm still going to tip the Melbourne Storm to win this one. I think they make it 23 straight, purely because it's at home. And I also just think the big 3 is going to need to step up more than ever in this game, and I back them to do it. Harry Grant, 8 tries in his last 7 games against Para. He's a good try-scoring sniff there, but I think him, Hughes, Munster, they run the cutter. Fa'alongo figures his way out in this early combination of this spine, and I think they just still have enough talent to beat Para. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, agreed. It's the Battle of Lomax.
Yes.
This one as well.
I wonder if he's there in the crowd.
Yeah, good question. And also, I'm a bit... Yeah, they've got the draw right. Yes. Technically, if you look at all the news in the off-season, they've got the draw right. Yeah, agreed. The Storm won't lose this one. Mm-hmm. And that could come back to bite me come Monday, but I very much doubt they're going to lose this one. I do like actually Harry Grant getting his hands on the ball more and having to do a little bit more playmaking. I really like that for them. It is a loss not having Pappenhausen there.
Yeah.
But I actually think what they get from Fa'alongo and then actually the additional from their other spine members, I think that could actually make them even more of a threat, but also it could derail their season a little bit with the lack of quality. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't mind that at all. I think Fa'alongo's going to need to pick his moments, but when he gets them, he's just a ball of energy, right, and excitement. And he'll play a different style to Pappenhausen, who was almost like another playmaker. I see Fa'alongo more as a creator and a finisher, but not so much in his ball-playing ability. It's those fast feet. His GPMs, goosies per minute, are just off of the Richter scale, so he's always a great watch, and I'm keen to see him get basically what we think is going to be a whole year's crack at it, although still wouldn't rule out Pappenhausen.
We said Origin, didn't we?
Yeah, we did say Origin, so there we go. I'm also really excited to see a guy get an opportunity in Moses Leo, who 7 superstar, good North Shore lad, Westlake boy, just been riddled with injury ever since he made the switch. So to see him now be the main beneficiary from this Lomax deal blocking and the Xavier Coates injury is probably a really cool upside for me. But I think this next game, Friday night footy, is what we're all interested in, right? This Warriors game.
Yeah, definitely.
Warriors Roosters. Cannot wait for this one.
You got all 19 right.
I did get all 19 right in my predicted team, so I will take that 100%. I think the only one that tripped me up a little was Marata possibly being back, but he's not back until round 2. Man, fizz level's high. 174 days since we've been at Mount Smart, and we get to finally go back for the first night of what is an outstanding night of footy. Sold out, hospitality sold out for the whole year. The fans are going to be there in massive numbers. We get to welcome the boys from Bondi who are being talked up. I had them finishing second this year. I think you had them first.
I did.
What a scalp to claim first up. I think they've bet us 8 out of the last 9 times they've come to Mount Smart, but the last time we played them there, we got them.
Yeah, I do. I think I was actually at that game last year. It was early rounds, wasn't it?
I think it was it return from Vegas?
Yeah,
possibly?
I'm not sure it was opening round, but it was one of the first couple that I remember being
low
there.
scoring.
Good performance, low scoring, ugly.
Yep, a grind, and I think this game could well be a grind too. Yep. The weather is going to be good, but I think we're going to make this one a dogfight, and that's the way I like it for us this week, to be completely honest. Obviously, DCE gets his debut game. It's a scary halves combo there with Sammy Walker, who I think, I tipped to be your Dally M medalist, so I really rate his talent. They've got an exciting backline with speed, with finishing. I was actually a little bit shocked at their forward pack. Obviously, Nafahu White, outstanding, really good footballer. And there's some big names still in there. But then you got Nat Butcher on an edge. You got Blake Steep starting at lock. You got Egan Butcher off the bench. Still great footballers, but it's not as formidable of a Roosters pack as it feels like in previous years. But perhaps that's because guys like Victor Radley and that are out at the moment.
Well, it's their squad's been very much talked about as one of the most deep and strong squads that they've had in a while. And I agree, but I do see the stark contrast of their backs. When you look at their backs lineup, you're like, holy hecker. Yep. And then you go to their forward pack, really good footballers. This isn't any disrespect to the players, but yeah, there is a little bit of a drop in quality, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
I feel like our bench as well will be licking their lips. Like when you look at Demi, Lecker, Tanner, Healy, that's the 17. Then you've got Tane in there, Morgan Gannon as well. I feel like we've got the edge there. Like Spencer Lenu is going to come on and bring a big impact. Sawyer Wong's a good footballer too, but I think we might get a little more off our bench. So yeah, this is incredibly exciting for me. The big watching points here, obviously, Chanel Harris-Tavita back, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck back, James Fisher-Harris back for their first runs in Warriors kit this year. Didn't play preseason games. Of course, Fish played the All-Stars, but I think everyone knows that he's going to be good to go. He's going to be ready. His leadership without Mitch Barnett this first couple of games is going to be huge, and I'm excited to see him rip in. I think as well, Laban starting really excites me. I thought he was outstanding in that Māori All-Stars game. Really good in pre-season for the Warriors up against the Dolphins too. He's earned this spot on an edge. He's a big body, athletic, works hard on offense and defense. Good kick target too. So I think Tanner Boyd is really going to enjoy chucking a couple up for him. And I think with Marata being out, this is his chance to really shine, because no doubt there would have been a bit of a selection dilemma there. The second thing I'm really keen to see play out is Webby's tactics around this extended interchange, the 6-man bench, because I feel like the 6 we've named is almost perfect for any scenario, right? You've got that big-bodied 3 that I mentioned before, your Demi, your Lecky, your Tanner, and then in Wade Egan, who's an 80-minute hooker, he can play the full spell if needed. If situation arises where we want to inject a Tane late and chase some points and try get a bit more creative, move Chance to the centres, things like that pop up. So I'm really keen to see how it plays out. I am a massive Sam Healey fan. So you've got the conventional method there, right, of Wade doing a 50 to 60 minute effort, Healey for 20, tiring ruck, and I feel like he'll tear them apart. Or else, you just kind of see where we're at the 50, 55 minute mark and then play that last interchange, which I think not a lot of teams are in a position to do, but we have the versatility through those three players, the aggression, the size, to be able to get away with an approach like that. And I think Webby would have really thought about it.
Yeah, not a lot of teams have the same versatility that we've got. And also, I do like the sort of dynamic Dimitrik, Lecker, and Tanner. It's quick. It's good footwork at the line. We're going to see some impact. They're youngish guys, at least. Well, those three are definitely. Sam Healey as well. So I really like the impact we've got on the bench. It'll just be whether we use them at the right times. That's my big question mark that I've got. I think that we've got the players there. We've got the starting lineup. We've got the depth. We just need to see it at the right times. And if Webby can get that right and the coaching staff and the game's going well, I think we're in a good position.
Mate, excited. I can't wait for this one. I truly believe that the boys are well and truly up for it. I think everything going on at the moment, the Barnett stuff, even though he's not playing, will just add another level to this season. I think the boys are confident. If you've watched all the content, like just hearing Fish talk, and that, like when people knock the season he had last year, I still thought he was good. Not quite Penrith level, agreed. But his off-field, what he brings to this team, the leadership, the belief, the standards he sets, the demand to do extras, like it's that shit that makes him one of the best signings for the club. So I can't wait to watch the lads rip in, and I hope everyone really enjoys it at Mount Smart. I'm, of course, tipping the Warriors to win. Little same-game multi for you as well. When you go to the try scorers combos option, Dell or Laban to score 1+ combined, $1.99. I reckon that's a bargain because Dell's a great shot, obviously, one of the great finishers, and then you get a Laban as insurance, who likes to find his way to the try line as well. You chuck in a Mark Nwanganetawase because I'm sure he will be on 95% of people's multis, whether you're a Warriors fan or a Roosters fan or just a footy fan in general. 8 tries in his last 3 games. He will dot and then round it off with a beautiful Warriors 1 to 12.
1 to 12?
Yeah, $12.22. I love saying Warriors 13+. I think this one will be a tight one, though. The Roosters are a quality football side. I think it's going to be an arm wrestle, momentum swings, but ultimately the lads dig deep and get us home.
I think it's the defence that's the really one that we've got to get right because the amount of danger that they've got in their backline and threats all around across the park. If we can stick with them for 60 minutes, I back us to bring it home in front of the Mount Smart faithful. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We've kind of got to get into it early, start quick, so that we can sort of put them on the back foot early.
Just quickly too, I was surprised at the amount of people commenting on the team list saying they wanted Cam Pereira. I am excited about Alofiana being at the club as well, and great signing. I just think off the back of not playing any preseason, he hasn't played any preseason, the club, and he's had a concussion. And we know Webby, he's loyalty first. Someone like Dell's had a good preseason and earned the right to wear the jersey first up. So I was a little bit shocked at that, and I'll just say, like, give Alofiana
hold your horses.
Time too. Yeah, he will get a crack this year for sure, and he's a great signing, but Dell's a bloody good player, and I just hope he kills it tomorrow night.
Yep, agreed. Let's move on to the other game on Friday night. Great game. Blockbuster. I'm a bit annoyed that we might not get home to start this one.
Yeah, this is a Sky Sport now.
Yeah, it is. In the Uber.
In the Uber on the way to wherever you're going, whether it's home or out onto the town to celebrate after a famous Warriors
victory. Be a bit of both.
Could be a bit of both. This is a great game. Obviously, last year's champs taking on the champs from the previous 4 years in a row. So we get dished up a doozy. I was a little bit surprised Nathan Cleary didn't get suspended, but this week I've moved on from that, and I'm just so stoked that he is playing for the spectacle of this game. Of course, no Liam Martin for the Panthers, but in Scotty Sorensen and Isaiah Papali'i off the bench as well. They have a deep squad. Good to see Kalani going, make the 17. Freddie Lussick make the 19. So they're a genuine chance for minutes, which is exciting. That Broncos team, pretty much standard, what we expected. At Suncorp, they've won 7 of their last 8 games there, and they will head in confident. I'm interested to see, like the World Club Challenge was a couple weeks ago now, but we saw the effect it had on Hull in Vegas. It's a long way to go. They've had time to recover from it, and they travel business and whatnot, but it could take a little bit of a toll on the body as well. The Bronx will be up for it. Already the media is saying that Madge might not have a job next year, which just seems crazy to me. He's just won you a premiership, but I just can't get it out of my head that I really like the Panthers in this game, even without Liam Martin. There's just that Cleary factor. I have them as my minor premiers. I expect them to make a statement straight away. I think this game is going to be a grind, and I think Penrith are going to drag the Broncos into a style of play that isn't that high-octane, fuck-it footy, chance your arm, 20 minutes to go. It's just going to be an arm wrestle, unders total points, like a 16-14, 20-16 type of game, and I think that suits Penrith way more than the Broncos.
See, if it is that arm wrestle, the Panthers win. But if it's high-octane footy and it's end-to-end and there's people running it on the first tackle, I'm taking the Broncos.
Well,
if
I can tell you, it's pissing down.
Well, there you go.
27 degrees, so it's hot and it's humid. It's almost Fiji and Drua spec type stuff that they're being dished up, but I think that suits Penrith as well with that kicking game. Paul Alamotti, 8 tries in his last 5 games. Good shout. Katoni Staggs, 5 tries in his last 4 games at Suncorp. Broncos chasing 7 wins in a row off the back of that finish last year, but I just feel like Nath is going to kick them into a corner. Penrith with a point to prove are just going to bash them up, and I don't know if that's the Broncos style of play, but then also you could convince me Hakeem Haas, Paddy Carrigan have themselves a day. Reece Walsh is just that good, and that's why this game is must-watch footy.
Yeah, it is must-watch footy. I like what the forwards for the Panthers, it doesn't look as strong as probably it has in previous years with the likes of Liam Martin, no James Fisher-Harris, Moses Leota is there, but I like those players that are actually have been put in there. Luke Garner, he gets a lot of stick sometimes from fans, but runs a great line off Nathan Cleary, and he can find him in those positions. So, yeah, the Panthers will be hard to go past, but I think if the weather finds up a bit, the Broncos get going a little bit on attack, I'll take the Broncos. But, yeah, you're right. Probably Panthers 1-12.
Yeah, you could be swayed either way. I can sense that.
I can, yeah.
Rate it. I'm going to back the Panthers in. Next game, first game Saturday.
Yeah, first game Saturday. Sharks hosting the Titans, a little bit of a interesting one. We talked much about the preseason about how I don't like the Sharks.
No,
but
no one really does, do they?
But what do you make of these two teams?
Look, when Jaden Campbell was in, I was all in on the upset, and to be fair, I'm still not that far off it. I think the Titans are paying $3 at the moment, which is pretty crazy to me, and the line is 11.5. They're paying $3.70. I feel like the Titans can certainly trip up the Sharks or at least cause them a load of trouble. I don't expect it to be a whitewash. The Sharks have only won 2 of their past 12 round 1 games, so they start slow. I think the Titans are going to play a different brand of footy this year. I think we've seen that in the preseason. I trust them a little bit more off the back of that. The Sharks have way more household names. Lockie Ilias, though, not a bad replacement to come in for Jaden Campbell. He's hardly a rookie. You got Keanu Kinney there. You still got Strike, Big Tino. I reckon that game is going to be really tight. And if you are looking for a decent money upset this weekend, the 375, this is the biggest upset possibility I can see.
Yeah, it is. And I think the bench for the Sharks is a little bit more experienced. I quite like what they're going to get off the bench. I'd say the Sharks are going to win this one. I don't think that's a rogue take, but no. I do like what the Titans do, and they did look good in preseason. So I'll go with the Sharks, but yeah, the Titans probably won't be far away.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen if Jaden Campbell was out there just for that X factor, but yeah, as you said, Sharky, good to see Tom Hazelton get a start too. So they've mixed things up a little bit, but it's that pretty run-of-the-mill team they rolled out last year, and maybe that'll be the difference in getting them across the line.
Yep, 100%. Let's move on to Four Pines Park. The Sea Eagles against the Raiders. 2 teams with a lot to prove, I think, this year. I know the Raiders were very good last year, but big changes at the Sea Eagles. What do you make of these 2 teams?
Yeah, interesting teams. Some big calls there. I see Matty Tomoko misses out on a centre spot. Simi Sasangi and Sebastian Chris, both really good footballers. Apparently Tomoko missed most of the preseason, broken foot, didn't play any of those games. So Ricky's gone off the back of that and given the 2 lads a crack. But Tomoko, man, he's a great player, international level rep as well. So that was a big call there. Ethan Strange wears the 6, partners with Ethan Sanders in the 7, the 2 Ethans there. ES and ES, that's going to trip me up all year round. But keen to see Sanders get a run, a nice little cheap fantasy buy. He's made his way onto my extended squad. Yeah, he's in the emergencies. He's not in there at the moment, but I think we'll make a bit of cash there. It's that forward pack, though, for Canberra that just turns me into a believer every time. Big Papa, Tapane, Hudson Young, Corey Horsburgh, Tom Starling off the bench. You got Zach Hosking. You got Morgan Smithies. They're just big and brutal, and that's where I worry for Manly the most, is through the middle. Look, Pasifika, Talkiaho, the Travojeviches, Hamoli Olakawatu, like, they're no slouches, that's for damn sure. But, yeah, this is another one too. Fogarty up against his old club. There's good narratives in every game. I'm going to back the Raiders in just because of the size of their forward pack. It's not easy to go to Four Pines and win there.
Just going to say that, yeah.
They love a good round one win there as well. But the Raiders have won 2 of their last 3 at Four Pines. I think Ricky has them up.
Yeah, he'll have them up for it. Looking at the Seagulls lineup in full, I think people will underrate them. I mean, like, they won't actually think that they're that good of a side this year, just on paper, and they've dropped off a bit with Daly Cherry Evans not playing. But, geez, there's some exciting footballers in that back line, and I think that, I don't know whether this is a bad take, but I like their back line over the Raiders' back line.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Form-wise, no.
No.
But, like, if you give me a healthy Turbo, ready to go.
Which we don't know whether he will be.
Now he's skipper, but pre-season you'd assume he's fresh and ready to rip. Like, massive Tolu Kola fan.
Yeah.
I think he's scored in his last 9 games straight.
Fogarty could get them around the field well.
Yep, Fogarty. It's the Luke Brooks thing, which worries me a little bit, but they got Joey Walsh on the bench, like Hetherington, Bullymore. They do have a decent team on paper. It's going to be a good game. I just think,
the Raiders forwards,
that Canberra pack, and then unleash guys like KO Weeks and that. But yeah, that could be a bloody tight one as well.
Yeah, 100%. And then the Sunday, we'll go to Sunday, the Dolphins taking on the Rabbitohs, a team we're very high on.
Yeah,
Dolphins.
2 teams we're high on. And I'm 1.5 high on. I could get high on the Rabbitohs as well. You just got to guarantee me health, which we've seen already with Brandon Smith. Can't be guaranteed. But the Dolphins are finding themselves in a pretty similar situation. Heard rumours Kurt Donahue, named at 9, won't start. And that Brent Wolfe, son of Christian Wolfe, the coach, will make his debut as their 4th string hooker, pretty much the only bloke available, that he is going to come in from jersey 19 to wear the 9 jersey and start. So that is a big blow for the Finns, because that is an extremely important position. When you look at the rest of the team, though, shit, it's exciting. Like Gilbert and Flegler, great propping duo there. Some really handy second rowers. Lemuelu and Fine Fuiaki. Morgan Knowles makes his NRL debut. You got the Hammer back. You got Isako back. Herbie. Selwyn Cobbo. Isaiah Katoa. Like, when you are leaving out someone like a Trey Fuller, when he's in jersey 17, you know that your back line is hissing. And this game, for me, I'm gutted the weather is still meant to be piss in the bed, because I think this would be entertainment deluxe. Points aplenty. You got AJ for the Bunnies, 2 tries off the record. We finally get to see this left edge in full action with Latrell, with Fafuda. It's going to be such a good watch. Jai Gray, big fan of the Short King. He gets them through a shit ton of work as well. And that Bunnies pack is scary too. You got guys like Tallis Duncan on the bench. So I feel like this is 2 teams that everyone is really excited about in the preseason, going straight at it. And I'm really interested to see how it works out, because Wayne Bennett will have the Bunnies up. They had arguably the best preseason out of any team. Like, they bet the Dragons with no one out there. So they will be ready. And the Finns, everyone is tipping them top 8. So let's see if they can handle that pressure, which is a bit different for them.
Yeah, I like the Rabbitohs in this one for some reason.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think? Where are you going to go? I'm not like certain on it.
I'm going to go the Finns. I think that position, that 9 position, if Wolf is in there, makes me a little bit nervous. I just think the Hammer, 16 tries in his last 10 games at Suncorp, crazy. Then they could move him into the centres. They could bring Trey Fuller on. I just think that attack they had last year, number 1 in the comp, then fortified by Flegler and Gilbert and these dogs on defence, Morgan Knowles, I think it'll be enough to get them over the line at home. But great game. They're all fucking good games this weekend, which, just has me absolutely ready to rip.
Have you got a multi for us?
I do not, but I could run you through a quickie just on the spot here. Upset potential, I think the Titans, but I would take them on that plus 11.5 point line. I think if you're nervous of that Panthers Broncos result, just take the unders and hope for an arm wrestle. I think the Storm get up and make it 23 straight. I think the Warriors 1-12 is a great shout at good odds. If you're nervous there, we're plus 5.5 starts. I
like that.
You could take that as a bit of insurance. Manly Raiders is maybe an avoid.
An avoid, yeah. Yes. You've got to have one of those in the round.
Gun to head, I would go Raiders. possibly just a try scorer like a Tolu Kola, and then I'm going to back the Finns in a close one.
Yep, like it.
Like it? You'd probably just swap the Raiders in there, wouldn't you? Oh, sorry, the Rabbitohs in there, wouldn't you?
I'm not sold on that the more you talk me out of it.
Oh, I don't. Hey.
No,
I think one of us is right.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with the Bunnies.
It's always great. Super Rugby.
Yep, Super Rugby. We've got some games this weekend. I mean, it's going to be a little bit overshadowed by the news of the All Blacks coach being named.
Absolutely, it is, yep.
But there's some big outs. We'll get through the teams very shortly. Obviously, the big one on Saturday, we'll start there with the Crusaders and the Blues, First of all, Tamati Williams being suspended. Did you see the clean-up? What were your thoughts?
I didn't mind it, but when you see the other stuff that's gone on over the last couple of weeks that has gone unpunished, then I think it's pretty harsh. Like how Jared Prophet got away with what he pulled off and not even copped a week. Like there perhaps could have been a bit of a truce there, and you give both guys 1 week. Like Tamati Williams' clean-out was pretty dangerous. We've seen similar clean-outs, though, recently go unpunished in other games. So I guess it just brings up consistency, which as fans is all you want, and when you don't get it, it's frustrating. And for a guy like Tamati just working his way back in, it would be really tough for him to swallow and for the Crusaders to swallow, because they're trying to chase some consistency here, aren't they?
Yep, 100%. We'll go through a little bit of the lineup, some main things. No Will Jordan for the Crusaders.
Big blow.
He's not listed on the injury front.
Right. They were saying hammy in training, but that was unconfirmed, right?
They're probably unclear and they don't want to say anything.
Yep.
Get people worried. So he's not there. Mm-hmm. They've gone with a 6-2 split on the bench. A couple of forwards there as well. Cody Taylor returns from his bruised ribs against the Brumbies.
Mm-hmm. That's a big one.
And Rivers Rehana at 10. What did you make of Taha Kimura last week? He was very good, I thought.
He was very good. I'm interested to see how he goes at 15. We were talking off air around some possible other combinations, like Dallas McLeod's daughters, who I see is on the bench. Like he could just come into that midfield. You move Leicester to a wing, Shea Fihaki to
That's what I would have done.
Yeah, well, Dallas McLeod, like All Black. So
One test All
Black, one of the greats up there. But like capable of playing a game like this for his first, because that would be his first Super game of the season, right? Yeah. So more than capable of doing something like that. I was a little bit surprised at that, but they're going to run the dual pivots, and maybe that's an indication they're trying to fight fire with fire there. Petafeta, Zahn Sullivan, Bodie Barrett. The Blues are going to run double pivots at some stage, and we could be in for a bit of a kicking duel.
Yeah, just on that, as you've just said, Bodie Barrett back in the lineup. He's on the bench, but it'll be interesting to see where he comes on, because I mean, there's a chance that Perifeta could go to 10. Perifeta could go to the fullback, or it could go the other way. Bowden could just come straight on in the fullback jersey for Zahn Sullivan, who's been impressive. It's interesting to see Caleb Clark being named, because he came off injured last week against the Brumbies. Didn't look good.
No, he didn't even in the post-game,
He was a good player.
Yeah, great. Looked exceptional on the paddock. Post-game when he was signing autographs, kissing babies, he didn't look as healthy, but great story that he still just hung around and literally got to every fan. It's an interesting one. Like, it depends how much Bodie's been involved at training, right? Because it would be an easier transition back into the game by chucking him at fullback, less game driving, less systems processed, and take a bit of the pressure off, allow him to come into the game and just run amok. But at the same time, he's the current All Blacks first five, so it would be such a temptation. And I'm sure he has been training at a decent workload. He's just been ticking boxes for this All Black rest so that Dave Rennie can say that he's well rested and ready to go, but so keen to see Bodie back for sure.
And probably the biggest news, Torian Barnstorming Barnes back in the starting lineup against this team that clearly didn't want him.
No.
So he's in the 6th jersey alongside Hoskins Satutu and Dalton Papali'i, Sam Gary.
It's a big trio, right?
It is a good trio.
Physical as well, and a good Crusaders trio, so I'm excited about that battle.
Cody Vai gets the nod at right wing over Cole Forbes.
Yeah, but like Raz there, I like it. He's like a taller body too. I think his potential, his aerial game is a little bit higher. I don't mind Cole Forbes though. Like, great footballer. I just think, I think we highlighted him in the preseason, right, as a player to watch. He's just got out and out X factor, and sometimes you need a guy like that who can just score points. I like the Blues in this one.
I was just going to say Blues or
1
Crusaders.
to 12. Bloody good value. I was on the fence about it prior to team namings, and then once I saw no Will Jordan, no Tamati Williams, yes, Cody Taylor back makes me a little bit nervous, but then Bodie back for the Blues, it's convinced me
Clark
enough.
There.
Yeah, it's convinced me enough that the Garden of Eden could see a bit of an upset there, and it was paying a whole lot more than it is now due to the team namings. But I think you can still get them at $2.95. I think that's good buying.
Yeah, I'd go Blues 1-12 as well. We'll take a step back and go to FMG Stadium or Rugby Park, whatever you want to call it, on Friday night. The Chiefs play Moana Pasifika. Liam Coombs-Fabling is the fullback.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
any word on Kyron Talmoifalau? And
no
if
word.
He's injured? Because he didn't play last week, did he? But he played for the development team.
I'll have a quick look at the release, but also Leroy Carter, Moni Narawa, Lalakai Fakiti gets the nod at 13, and Damien McKenzie, the big news, is back at first 5.
Daddy's home.
Yeah.
Usher. And Cortez Ratama also back off parental leave as well. So a couple new parents that'll be looking to make a big performance. So excited to see D-Mac, and just a bit unfortunate for Moana, right? That the week they happened to catch them, which already would have been a tough game, they get the Chiefs off the back of a big loss with Damien McKenzie back. To me, it's a recipe for a 60-pluser, and Moana are without a few players as well, I see.
Yeah, they are. Just quickly on the Chiefs, Luke Jacobson's out with a hip injury. Doesn't say how long, whereas everyone else on the release says how long they are, so that's an interesting one. No Kyron Talmoifalau on that list, so that's interesting. Brodie McAllister still out with a hand, expected back in the next couple of weeks. And there's some impact on the bench. Ollie Norris, Josh Lord, Simon Parker, Josh Jacob. So that's a good bench, little bit of a bomb squad type thing going on there.
No Wallace Satiti, but I guess...
He's in the number 8 jersey.
Oh, okay. There you
Might
go.
have missed that, but there you go.
There you go.
And then we'll move to Moana Pasifika. Yeah, like you said, missing a couple players. Still got Miracle Whailangi, Tupo Tailoa, and Augustine Pulu. The great Augustine Pulu.
Good to see him back. So underrated as a player, man. Physical 9. So, look, he brings a bit of experience. I think they're going to need that experience, though. I think this is going to be a pretty hectic game there. The line is set at 27.5 points. So, the TAB's expecting some tries. And I think the Chiefs turn it on.
And not only that, I'm not the greatest Jackson Garden-Bishop fan compared to Patrick Pellegrini, so not sure why he's been benched so that Jackson Garden-Bishop can start. So that's an interesting one. Yeah, I'd imagine the Chiefs should get this one done pretty easily.
Random question.
Yep.
Could you see Tana Umanga and Dave Rennie's coaching setup?
I wouldn't put it past it, because Tana's done defence coaching before as an assistant coach, eh? It's an interesting one. I'm not 100% sure.
Someone I'll be keen to see.
I wouldn't mind it.
Popped up into my head.
Yep, 100%.
Hurricanes Tars. I think this is a Tars upset at $2.20.
Yeah?
I see Harkin at 10. I see Duplessis Karifi is back, which is a great get. But I think in a game like at the Tars in Sydney, they're off the back of a bye. This reminds me of that Reds-Landers game last week where you're catching a team at home off a bye, a quality side. I just feel like the lack of a genuine 10 this week, like a Brett Cameron, like a Ruben Love, is going to hurt them. I would have gone Geordie at 10, Riley Higgins at 12, and mixed it up a bit.
Yeah.
I think the Tars at home at 2.20, they're a bloody good football side.
Yeah, we'll go through their team. Andrew Callaway at fullback, Max Jorgensen, who's been exceptional so far this season, Suali'i, and they've got some good players all around the park there. Loose forward trio, Charlie Gamble, Pete Samu, and Talatina. Is that right? Yep, Talatina. He's very good as well. So that's an impressive squad. And then we go to the Hurricanes, Asafa Amor. Pasilio Tossi's back for the Hurricanes, which is a big in. Peter Lakai is still, like you said, Duplessis Karifi. Yeah, and then it's a relatively unchanged back line. So you're really high on the Waratahs this week, you think?
I don't know if I'm really high. I just think at $2, I expected them to be name favourites, to be fair.
Really?
Like the Canes coming off a tough trip to Fiji, a loss as well. And yes, they'll be fired up to avenge that loss. But I feel like the Tars, undefeated, break, then you catch them at home.
I think what we've figured out is that coming back from the Drua is worse than like people think.
Yeah.
Like it takes so much of a toll on your team.
Yeah, it's almost a trip like the Force trip, right?
Yeah.
No one ever questions how hard that is to do, and I think Fiji and Lautoka in particular needs to be held in a similar regard. All
right, we'll go to Saturday now. Highlanders Force at Forsyth Bar in Dunedin. Should be a good crowd down there under the roof. We'll go through the lineup. Tangi Tau, Ratamatavuki Neepkins still. Cam Miller gets the nod at 10 as well. Jack Taylor, Ethan de Groot. Angus Ta'avau's back.
Great
news.
Yep, great news, obviously. Heartbreaking stuff for him, but good to see that he has a bit of a distraction in footy and he can come back to the team, and the lads and the Landers fans can get around him.
One player that you've said you've liked in the past is Viveni Lasanga.
Starting, right?
Yeah.
Big fan of that. I see no Lucas Casey on the bench, is that right?
Yep.
Missed out this week. So, yeah, I'm a big Lasanga fan, and I love his impact off the bench, so it'll be interesting to see him get a start at super level. I think this is a bounce-back game.
Question, they haven't played Thomas Lavanini at all this year.
No.
He's fit. He's playing for their second team. It's an interesting one. He's a 90-something odd test Argentinian. It's surely he's not still getting up to speed.
Yeah, and they could do with a bit of experience in that position too, so it is a weird one. There was chat that he was already about to sign some deal in Europe, right?
Already?
Yeah, but like he wanted to use the Highlanders form to really cement it, so he's probably fuming as well. But yeah, they kind of trumpeted that signing when they made it, so it is a weird one. I don't know if there's something going on there, but I like the Landers in this one. I feel like I do underestimate the Force a lot, but I think their big win was last week, and I think this will be a stretch too far. Landers side under the roof, big crowd. Hopefully the zoo's packed again. The thing about the Force that interests me is actually off-field and these Zach Lomax rumours.
Right. Do you want to explain that?
Spotted yesterday leaving Rugby Australia. We all know he took a trip to Perth a couple months back. Everyone assumed it was for the rugby league side. I was told it was for the rugby team. And I could just see him now with this whole drama that's gone down. Can't play NRL till 2028. Do a year and a half, land up at the Force. They got a rich owner who will pay money just for bums on seats. He does the Rugby World Cup if he's good enough, and then straight back to the NRL or R360 in 2028 if that's meant to get off then. To me, it just makes a whole lot of sense. Like, Lomax doesn't strike me as a guy who's just going to sit around, and we know he likes coin.
Well, he certainly does. Yeah. And not only that, I think it is a good... If you're going to do it, it's probably the perfect time to do it with the World Cup next year, home World Cup. I'm sure that is in his thoughts. And then there's other stuff with their team, George Bridge. Do you reckon he's got an absolute earful about him not putting the ball down last week?
Yeah, potentially. 100%. He's not the type of guy that would make a play like that either. Like, when you think of George Bridge, you think fundamentals. But... look, Force, no pushover. I just think Landers deserve to be $1.25 favourites, in particular because they're at home.
Yep, we've already talked about the Blues Crusaders. So the last game of the round, the Brumbies versus the Reds, a very good game. The Reds were good last week against the Highlanders, and then the Brumbies probably slightly underperformed even though they won. Thoughts on this?
Upset potential.
Right.
I just think the Brumbies have had to be so up to start the year, right? They had the Crusaders over here. They would have been massively up for that. They had to dig deep into the well last week against the Blues, which is not a win you can repeat often or an energy that you can get to consistently as a team. They've had James Slipper's 200th, and they're facing a Reds team that'll be confident. They've had a bye, different prep, heavy underdogs. I think this is going to be really close, and I think the Reds are a sniff.
Yeah, I agree. I think I was really impressed with their loose forward trio last week, the Reds.
That's going to be a great battle, right? There's Wallabies jerseys on the line there. All of them will be in the Wallabies squad, basically, but you could play your way into a starting spot. Like Valentini and Kale and that have been exceptional as well.
What did you make of Declan Meredith? He's had a lot of high raps on him. He was good last week against the Blues, scored that try off James Slipper's grubber.
Yes, what a grubber. That was more the thing was the Slipper grubber. But, yep, quality player, and I feel like the Brumbies have the talent in there to pull out wins like that. We call them like lucky escapes, but it's never luck, right? It's quality, and they have that. I feel like the Reds have similar players in their roster capable of doing that, so I'm keen to see which team it is pulling off those players.
Someone who we didn't see do that well, respectively, in the NRL, Carter Gordon at 10 for the Reds.
Yep.
Was good last week.
He was good. I think he's the Wallabies 10.
You think so?
Yeah, so they need him to keep trucking along here, and yeah, big battle for him this week. A good matchup, but I think he is the guy to take the Wallabies through. Just in terms of all-round skill set, game driver, body size. Yeah, it didn't go too well for him in the NRL. I rate him for giving it a crack, but like the fact he waltzed straight back into their basically starting team on that Northern Tour last year shows they have massive raps on him.
Do you want to quickly run us through your multi or your picks for the weekend, and then we'll move on to some other sports?
Chiefs by plenty.
Yep.
40, 50 plus.
So leave their head-to-head alone?
Yeah, you'd take the minus 27.5 or even go winning margin 40 plus and and really hope for some tries. Try scorers, great time. Wingers, hookers, the works. I like the Tars, upset alert. I like the Landers. I like the Blues 1-12. And fuck it, I'm going to go the Reds. I've got 3 upsets in there.
What's the line on the Reds?
Blues. The line is not huge, I don't believe. 7.5.
I'd be taking that.
That's a good bet as well. But yeah, this is another week where it's hard to predict, which is what we love in Super Rugby at the moment.
And most people would have already seen the result by now, the T20 World Cup. Talk us through it. What are your thoughts, hopes?
Well, now Matt Henry's back. I'm all in.
You're all in?
We're on. I really hope that we can pull off the dub tomorrow morning. Last night. This is a game to me that the Black Caps somehow pull off, and I'm hoping I'm correct. I stand by the fact you can't go undefeated in a T20 World Cup. T20 is not that type of game. So let's hope South Africa's losses now and not in the final.
Just quickly before we go, Liam Lawson had on the show yesterday when you're listening on George FM. Talk us through him. What was the vibe like?
Good lad. It was interesting. Like, he was just unsure about the car as I am as a fan.
Yes.
Like, we were like, talk us through it. And he was like, to be honest, I don't really know. He was like, these pre-practices, no one actually tries their hardest. Everyone's just playing mind games, like a giant game of poker. So he was like, I'm really interested to see how it works out as well. And I was mostly shocked that, like, he was still in Auckland on the Wednesday morning ahead of a Grand Prix in Melbourne this weekend. I figured they would be there a week before, dialed in, ready to rip. It's not far to travel, but I just thought the whole team would have wanted them there. But that's another great sporting event to rip into this weekend. Formula One is back, and I thought he was a bloody good lad. He talked us through him DJing at a wedding over summer. He played a lot of beer pong, hosted some kick-ons. Just seemed like a Kiwi dude. Yeah, loves his golf. So, yeah, check that yarn out on George FM Breakfast on Spotify too. But I walked away from that being like, yeah, I'm a Liam Lawson fan. If you weren't already, I think you would like him after that.
I've probably gone through it, but 4 picks for the big weekend that you've got this week.
Let's go the Blues.
Yeah.
Let's go the Blues 1-12. Let's go AFC.
Yep.
They should win at home, right? You're the AFC expert.
Yep.
Let's back them.
I'm just going to say yeah.
Yep. Well written to win the Kiwi.
The Kiwi.
And, yeah, you're not going to get a lot of that. Not of that money off him. Heavy favourite there. And then Waz 1-12. That'll get the job done. Juicy multi right there. Right, that's us. See you back here Monday to review, hopefully, a massive weekend of sport. Hopefully it lives up to the bill. Go well. Enjoy your Warriors football. How bloody good.